Awesome news. Zach Benson is here to stay. Recapping Sabres and Caps, previewing Sabres and Penguins. And Benson staying coming up in the Locked On Sabres podcast.
You're Locked On Sabres, your daily podcast on the Buffalo Sabres. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thanks for making Locked On Sabres your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. The Sabres fall to the Washington Capitals 4-3 in overtime. The Sabres are next up at home against the Pittsburgh Penguins Friday night, a 6 o'clock puck drop for Sabres and Pens coming your way. And we've got a lot to get to on both games. I'm in a bad place about Wednesday's loss. I'm not even going to necessarily tell you I'm in a great place about Friday's game coming up. You'll find that out when you get to my same game parlay of the game. By the way, as if I wasn't already upset that the Sabres blew a lead when the final minutes to Washington, a team that I don't think is that good. And I thought that was confirmed a little bit on Wednesday. But on top of that, man, can you come closer to hitting on a parlay, which had long shot odds? Remember, I got the Benson goal that I wanted on the anytime goal. I got the over 6.5 goals. I needed 3 shots from JJ Peterka, and I got two shots from JJ Peterka. And I might have a bone to pick with the Washington scorekeeper because I saw Peterka throw a puck on net in the first period that kind of looked like a dump-in, but it went on net, and they didn't call it a shot on goal. I don't know what the rule is there. A different arena, I think maybe I win that parlay. So I'm calling BS on the fact that I didn't win it. But Ofer still have not hit on a parlay yet. Maybe today's the day, although I've got a pretty long shot one because I'm going swinging for the fences. But that's a lot later in today's show. A lot to get to. Remember, we have our text service. We've had a lot of fun with that so far through a couple of days. We had a lot of good conversation going back and forth with Sabre fans during the game on Wednesday. It's like your big Sabre group chat, kind of. And I love reading through a lot of them and interacting with you. So again, join subtext.com, joinsubtext.com/LockedOnSabres if you want to get involved with it. It's only a couple bucks a month, and we, again, breaking news alerts. So today we find out Zach Benson's going to stay for the season. You get a text sent right out. Today we find out some other things about the lineup. You get that sent right out to you. You're able to respond, and I'll converse with you back and forth as much as I can. And I've been doing a lot of that the past couple of days. So again, join subtext.com if you want to get in on the Locked On Sabres text community, our text line, and become a sortie. I'm running with sorties for now. If you're part of our community, you're an official sortie. So again, join subtext.com /LockedOnSabres. Zach Benson is staying. This is very good news. We all kind of knew it, right? What a goal. Gotta be in the conversation, if not definitively number one, for the best first NHL goal of any player's career. Gets found by Victor Olofsson. He's coming in from the left, and I kind of saw it coming a little bit. You could just tell. He had just the right angle. He was going just the right speed. He had just the right amount of room, no defenders near him to accomplish that. So it is a filthy goal, and we all knew it right there. No way you're sending this guy back. Not after that. I mean, I jumped out of my chair when he scored that goal because he had to go ahead and make it bar down too, on top of it being between the legs. What a job by Zach Benson. And he played well again. I mean, it's not a coincidence that this guy, in terms of expected goals for, is the number one Sabre player on the roster through however many games we are through now. What are we through? 19 games? He's the best Sabre in terms of the advanced numbers. So the fact that he scores that goal, you might think, well, it's one goal. But I was wondering if that's put the Sabres over the top. Was the decision in doubt at all? And then Kevin Adams saw him do that and went, I can't send him back now. You definitely can't send him back. I mean, imagine the PR hit If he had scored that goal and the NHL Twitter account and YouTube accounts are putting that goal everywhere and ESPN's got it on SportsCenter top 10 and TSN, I'm sure, and all the Canadian TV stations are running with it. And then the next day, remember that guy had scored that insane goal last night? Oh, he's pretty good for the Sabres. Oh, no, they sent him back to whatever what in Washington State. You couldn't send him down. You couldn't send him down. And they shouldn't send him down, by the way. He has been one of the Sabres' most consistent forwards and maybe one of their best 3 or 4 forwards when he's been healthy. And for now, the kid's healthy. He's got to stay, and they need him. They need him. This is a team that is not dangerous, and he is one of the few guys that is consistently creating offensive chances. Benson had to stay. And I'm glad that however the Sabres got to the decision, however Benson got them to make the decision, they made the decision. He's a Sabre for the rest of the season. And you know what? Whatever. If you're burning a year of his entry-level contract, this team likes to pay guys early anyway. So if anything, they might look at it as, well, now we could pay him at 20 instead of having to wait till 21. So there is some positive to doing this as well, although you are burning a year of his contract. So good for Benson. He will be in the lineup on Friday night against the Penguins, but a little bit more on Wednesday's game against Washington. That game is just a microcosm of the season, isn't it? I mean, Benson made a great play and made a great goal. And he had not scored before that. But that team has not looked dangerous all season. And they come out firing with 2 goals in the first period, and then they cooled off. And they get a power play goal in the third period, but you know what? Even on that one, they hadn't scored on the 5-on-3 right before that. The power play was winding down. They were at desperation shooting at that point. And Dylan Cozens, it's a good shot. He wouldn't go bar down or anything. He put it in the middle of the net. I don't want to take too much credit away from Cozens on that one. That was a nice shot. Nice one-timer. He got a hold of it, and he got it through. So they got a power play goal. But 5-on-5, not a dangerous hockey team right now. They do not look it. Their numbers don't show it. They are not a dangerous hockey team, and that is what made fans fall in love with them last year. It wasn't just that, hey, they're starting to get a little higher in the standings. They're starting to put a little bit more wins together. On top of that, it was, look what they're doing to other teams. I mean, they had teams like the LA Kings and the Minnesota Wild and the Bruins at times going, whoa, look at this. Like, back off. What are we supposed to do? They don't look like that at all this year. On any level, they don't look like that. It feels like they are maxing out to get to an 8-9-2 record, and that is not what was supposed to happen for this hockey team. So the Washington game, they give up a goal in the final 2 minutes, and then they give up one in overtime. For me, the takeaway is this team needs way more from their best players. Way more. And I know Tage Thompson is out of the lineup right now, but beyond that, they need way more from guys like Alex Tuch. And for me, number 1 on that list is Dylan Cozens. I don't know if he's injured. He might be. He has the cage on until today. I guess he's taking it off for this Penguins game. But until now, he's had that cage on. He's dealt with a little bit of injury issue. He missed a game a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And maybe he had something coming into the year. But Dylan Cozens does not look like himself. And whether it's injury or not, he needs to get his bleep together. Whether it's getting healthy or just figuring something out mentally, you got to get your bleep together because this team does not have Tage Thompson right now. Dylan Cozens is the guy playing on the top line right now between Alex Tuch and Jeff Skinner. They cannot afford, this team, this Sabres team, is not deep enough right now at forward to afford Dylan Cozens playing the way he's playing. They need him to be a star. And he has showed that in the past. They need him to get back to that. Krebs cannot go up in the lineup. I mean, I might try it just to say whatever, but they've given him some shots this year to be more of an offensive playmaker. And the guy is still sitting on 1 secondary assist on an empty net goal as his only point of the season in 17 games played. They can't rely on Tyson Jost to come up and score goals like that. He's riding 3 points in 14 games. Cozens has 3 goals this year. That's a 14-goal pace over 82 games. Well below what he is, you are counting on him for. He needs to play better. Cozens is number 1 on the list for me for that. I think Alex Tuch is probably number 2 on the list for that. And Victor Olsen. I mean, I continue to pound the drum of this guy should not be in the lineup anymore. But you know what? He is. And he scored 28 goals last year. He scored 20 goals multiple times in the past before that. That guy scores goals. What is happening with him? Why is he not scoring? Is it mental because he knows the team tried to trade him or that he wanted to be traded and it didn't happen? Is it because he gets healthy scratched once in a while? What is it? Because did the shot just magically go away? He didn't do much before that anyway. Why is he not finishing? He's got 2 goals on the season. For as long as Olsen is here, he's giving some effort, but they need more out of that. They need more out of Olsen if he's going to be playing in the lineup. They need more out of Cozens and Tuck more importantly. But Olsen's number 3 on my list right now for guys that they need to start scoring more. Absolutely. All right, Sabres lose to the Capitals. Just such a deflating loss. They had not had a real win streak past 2 games that had gotten going this year, and we thought maybe that this could start to build towards that. And the Capitals, man, like that's a team you got to be better than. They should be dead. They're old and slow and not able to skate with you anymore because your team is the youngest in hockey and their goalie, the guy that's been playing well in net isn't even playing in this game. I didn't think Washington was that good. The Sabres had more scoring chances. The Sabres had a higher goal saved above expected, expected goals. They had more scoring chances. They had more shot attempts and shots. They scored on the power play. I mean, I don't get how they lost that hockey game. That they were the better team in that game, and I guess that could be your saving grace that even though they lost, they were the better team. But they can't afford to just be the better team anymore. They got to be the better team and win because it's not just about figuring out what they are anymore. Now it's time to get results. Hopefully they get results against the Penguins on Friday night. We'll go through the lineup, more on Benson staying, and what could happen if they return to 12 forwards and 6 defensemen. That's coming up here on the Locked On Sabres podcast. We are presented by the Game Time app. It's a way to go to the game tonight if you want to get in that arena. Try to take it back from what I'm assuming is going to be a lot of Penguins fans in the crowd tonight. I know my buddy Brian Mazurowski from WBEN is going to have his Penguins jersey on. So give me one extra person with this ad to get to the game so that I can counteract BMAS in the crowd. You shouldn't have to worry about buying tickets to your next big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their best price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. Last-minute deals, flash deals, zone deals. It's easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your arena. My favorite function, you can see the view from your seat before you buy it, so you know exactly the angle, the height, everything that you're going to be looking at once you're sitting down for your event. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNHL. You're going to get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNHL. LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Back here on the Locked On Sabres podcast. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. Time to take a look at the lineup for the Sabres and Penguins on Friday night, 6 o'clock at KeyBank Center. Don Granato giving updates at practice says that the plan is that they're going to go back to 12 forwards and 6 defensemen. Now, what he also says is that there is a forward that is dealing with an injury, and they'll have to see how he progresses through the day. We don't know who it is, and there's no real good way to tell from practice because at practice, they had 4 solid lines put together, and they all took line rushes. You know, my immediate thought was, well, what about Dylan Cozens for that? Because I've wondered if Cozens has been playing injured. Cozens, though, said today he's taken off the shield. So that almost sounds like he's getting healthier, not less healthy. So I have no good way of telling who it is. But he does say the plan is to go back to 12 forwards and 6 defensemen. So if it's 12 forwards, these were the lines of practice at the morning skate. All the same as the last game, but with Krebs thrown in. Dylan Cozens with Alex Tuck and Jeff Skinner. Casey Middlestat with JJ Peterka and Zach Benson. Tyson Jost with Victor Olsen and Jordan Greenway. Peyton Krebs in between Kyle Okposo and Zemgus Girgensons. On the blue line, you had Ryan Johnson and Rasmus Dahlin, Owen Power and Matthias Samuelsson, Eric Johnson and Connor Clifton. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen in goal with either Levi or Comrie backing up. Now, I like that Luukkonen, by the way, is going to be playing in this game. Luukkonen has been the best goalie so far, and the meaningful part of Luukkonen playing in this game is not just that the Sabres might have their best goalie between the pipes. It's also Eric Comrie's not a part of the rotation right now. Or the rotation is not 1-2-3, 1-2-3, 1-2-3, because it went the last few games here. Luukkonen, Levi, Comrie, Luukkonen, Levi. Now we're going back to Luukkonen. So Comrie getting this would have been his turn. If they were just splitting it three ways, this would have been Comrie's turn. He's not going. It's going to be Luukkonen. So that's noteworthy there. And I agree with it. I think Luukkonen deserves to play, and I think he should absolutely be between the pipes. And maybe, honestly, if he plays well against the Penguins, this is where I am at with UPL. And I'm not the UPL guy. So for me, more than anybody, it takes more for me to get to this spot than I'm sure most. I think you just play him until he stops playing well. Every game. Devin Levi's development, be gone. Don't matter at all right now. They got to get back into the standings here in a good spot. So if UPL plays well against the Penguins, I would go right back with them the next game. I don't care. Back to backs, even. I'm wondering about how desperate you want to get with it. I know they play at New Jersey tomorrow night. I would consider it. I really would consider playing Luukkonen on back-to-back nights. Otherwise, we got the Penguins lineup to talk about in this game. The Penguins, who are 9-9 on the season, 18 points. 18 points is only 1 point. Actually, no, tied in points. Tied in points with the Sabres. They have more regulation wins. That's why I was looking at it. They're higher in the standings. 18 points and 18 points. Sidney Crosby leading the way. Not a big surprise there. 22 goals in 18 games played. Although I will say on Crosby, he is on a goals pace that is a lot higher than he's had in a long time. 12 goals in 18 games. I mean, he's on a 40-plus goal pace. He hasn't scored 40 goals in 6 years. So it could be the first time, long time for him in terms of goal scoring. Taking more shots this year than what he normally does. Jake Gensel, 21 points in 18 games. Malkin, a point per game. Carlson, a point per game. I mean, it's the old guys that are carrying the load there. But that's what you would have expected from the Pittsburgh Penguins. In terms of lines for the Pens in this game, if you're wondering who's playing with who these days over there, it's Crosby with Jake Gensel and Drew O'Connor. There's always that Wilkes-Barre Scranton guy, right? That's up playing with Crosby and going to have a career year and then get overpaid by the Anaheim Ducks or the Chicago Blackhawks. Drew O'Connor has only played 18 games this year. Excuse me. He's only had 4 points. He's played every game. 4 points. So I don't know why they're playing him up there, if they're trying to get him going, if they think there's more there. Interesting decision, but he's playing on the top line. Second line, Evgeny Malkin with Riley Smith and Alex Nylander. Nylander got called up after some success in the AHL. He played their last game, 15 minutes of ice time, didn't register a point. He's going to play. Nylander has become kind of a career AHLer. He's now 25 years old, soon to be 26, and he has only, in the last 2 years playing in the Penguins organization, he's only played 10 games and has 1 goal and 1 assist. So that guy, kind of as I predicted, I hated that pick way long ago when the Sabres made it, and I never liked him after that. I went to a junior game in 2016, knowing that Nylander and I believe there was another Mississauga Steelhead that was supposed to be a first-round pick. And we're going to go see a McDavid game in Erie. Who do we want to see? How about this guy? He's going to be a first-round pick. Didn't notice him one time. In a junior hockey game, right before he was about to be a first-round pick, didn't notice him. Then he got to the Sabres. Development camps, prospects camps, Rochester, preseason games, never, ever looked like an exciting player. Never showed anything to my eyes. So he left, goes to Chicago, doesn't do anything there. Then he goes to Pittsburgh, doesn't do anything there. They sent him down, and now he's just finally getting another crack at NHL minutes. So they're trying it, right? He's playing with Malkin. Alex Nylander playing with Evgeny Malkin and Riley Smith. Nylander, if you're looking for him in this game, by the way, will be wearing the number 11. And you might have to look for him because knowing Alex Nylander the way I do, you're probably not going to notice him all that much. Third line, Lars Eller with Radim Zahorna and former Saber Vinny Hino-Stroza, scored a goal the other night. Jonathan Quick, who didn't have a glove, by the way. Go watch that highlight if you're interested. Kind of a weird one. Noel Acciari, Matt Nieto, and Jeff Carter. Old man Jeff Carter is on line 4. One of the few remaining NHLers that has played the Buffalo Sabres in a playoff game. The blue line, they split Chris Letang and Erik Karlsson up. So it's Ryan Graves with Chris Letang, Marcus Pettersson with Erik Karlsson, and then Ryan Shea and John Ludwig on the third pair. The starting goalie in this game will be Alex Nedeljkovic, who has been the much better of the two goaltenders. But to be fair, he's only played 3 games. .944 save percentage, 6 goals allowed in 3 games. Tristan Jarry, the starter, is at a .916. Not like he's played bad, but they'll be going with the backup in this game, and Alex Nedeljkovic. That's what you got for Sabres and Penguins on the ice. When we come back, the odds and my same game parlay of this game is coming back here on the Locked On Sabres podcast. We are presented by BetterHelp. BetterHelp this time of year can be a lot. It's natural to feel some sadness or anxiety about it, but adding something new to your life can counteract some of those feelings. Therapy can be a bright spot amid all of the stress and change, something to look forward to make you feel grounded and to give you the tools to manage everything going on. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, super easy, designed to be convenient, flexible, suited to your schedule. All you gotta do is fill out a brief questionnaire, to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Find your bright spot this season with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNHL today. You'll get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNHL. Final segment here on the Locked On Sabres podcast. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Sabres and Penguins, KeyBank Center. We're looking at a 6 o'clock puck drop for this one. And if you're looking at the betting odds for tonight's game between the Sabres and the Penguins, as I try to get my stream to work here for our YouTube watchers. There we go. The Sabres are -104 on the money line. The Penguins are -115. So a favorite you would consider to be Pittsburgh here, despite both teams being minus money. If you don't know what the minus means, you would have to bet that amount to win 100, as opposed to plus, where, for instance, the over-under, -132 to go over 6.5 goals. Under is +108. In this game. So the favorite here is that the Penguins will win in a high-scoring game over 6.5 goals. Although, again, pretty split down the middle in terms of the odds. My same game parlay for this game, I'm going to look at, honestly, you're not going to love it, but this is how I feel about the Sabres right now. I don't think they're playing well. There are not many players I trust to provide offense on this Sabres team, which is not something I thought I'd be saying a month into the season. But this is where we're at. So, because I don't trust, I know what I'm getting in Pittsburgh. I know Crosby's going to show up. I know Malkin's going to show up. I know Erik Karlsson's going to show up. So I got 3. At the very least, I got 3 Gensel, too. So 4 guys I know are showing up and providing scoring chances for the Penguins. Sabres, Skinner, and Dahlin. 2. Can I even say Skinner right now? I mean, Skinner's been fine, but he's not somebody that generally drives his own play, so you never know. So Dahlin, is that it? I'm going Penguins on the puck line, -1.5 goals. I think they're going to win this game by more than 1.5 goals, 2 goals or more. Now, I'm going to go back to the well. I'm going back to JJ Peterka, 3 or more shots on goal, because I thought I won it last time, and I want retribution. I want a makeup here. And the Sabres have their scorekeeper. And I think the Sabres scorekeeper would have marked that shot in the first period against the Capitals as a shot on goal, and I would have won the bet. So because it's home and you get a favorable scorekeeper, I'm going with Peterka, 3+ shots on goal. And then, honestly, I'm going to put Kyle Okposo in here as an anytime goal scorer. He's a distant, not a favorite at all, +700. Is his odds on his own to score. I've liked Okposo in the past couple of games, though. I think he's starting to take a little onus on his own shoulders to provide some offense. He's taking some chances. He's ripping some shots on goal, getting a couple of scoring chances here and there. It's not in large part. It's not a lot. But I think he's skating with the puck well. I think he's finding the right scoring areas. I don't know how much juice he has in the tank to keep doing this. But I think he's been coming kind of close. So I'm going to go +700 for Okposo thrown into this parlay for a total of +7,400. for Penguins to win by 2 or more, Peterka to have 3 or more shots on goal, and Kyle Okposo to score a goal. Plus 7,400. So 100 to win 7,400 or 10 to win 740, so on and so forth. That's my same game parlay for Sabres and Penguins. All right. That's it for me today here on the Locked On Sabres podcast. Thanks everybody for tuning in to today's show. Reminder here on the Locked On Podcast Network, we have our first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. Locked On Sports Today, here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe to the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. Thanks for listening. Remember, join our subtext, join subtext.com/LockedOnSabres. Interact with me during the game tonight, and other fans will have our big old group chat, our sorties group chat, Friday for the game. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Locked On Sabres podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.